Aromagees Botanica, a metaphysical store for mind, body, and spirit. Oils, herbs, candles, crystals, teas, handmade soaps, tarot cards, everything you need on your magical journey. Daily psychic and tarot readings, classes, witchcraft, pagan, and hoodoo supplies, most of it made in-house. Try our free Dress Your Own candle station. From spiritual gifts to ritual supplies to religious books, we have the widest selection of metaphysical products in all of Tennessee since 1999. It is our goal to inspire everyone to explore their spirituality in their own way by offering information and products in a nurturing multicultural environment. Open 7 days a week. 223 Donaldson Pike, Nashville, Tennessee, or visit us online at aromagees.com.
Thank you for tuning in to Pagan World TV. Welcome to the Gayle Tracey Mull Show with Gayle Tracey Mull. Gayle is a catalyst for change. She can help you create the life that you dream of living. Gayle walks the path of the wounded healer. She is a psychic reader and life coach, as well as a Reiki master in 2 traditions. She has a long and varied background in the mystical, the magical, and the metaphysical. Please welcome your host, Gayle Tracey Mull.
Hello, this is Gayle Tracey Mull, and this is the Gayle Tracey Mull Show. And I am here with Terry Unger. He is an author. He has, to his credit, the Reluctant Hero Trilogy, as well as Finding Polaris. And he has actually worked on a number of different projects. He is a teacher in the heathen community here in Texas. And he has a website called Frigus Folk Kindred of Galveston County.org, as well as Frigus Folk on Facebook. If you want to contact him after we finish tonight, I highly urge you to do so. He takes on students, and he actually has a class that he teaches from the Heathen Handbook that was created by one of our mutual good friends, Bart Carbon of Woden's Folk and his kindred. So they work pretty closely together. And, you know, he is a self-professed journeyman. In other words, like many of us, I think he's still finding himself. Am I correct, Terry?
Well, it depends. Some things I don't want to find anymore because I left them behind. Glad I did. You know, when you decide that you're going to walk away from a lot of things, at least I tend to burn a bridge, and that's it. We were talking about this the other night, where you know, I left Christianity behind when I was a mere swaddling toddler of the tender age of 15. And I am 70 now. So the journey for me has been to get involved with something that actually makes sense to me. And one of the reasons is because it's, I think, genetic for the most part. We can get into that a little bit, but, you know, we founded a kindred here in Texas that works, like you said, very closely with Woden's Folk and my good friend Burke. We are Frigus Folk Kindred of Galveston County, and we are a legitimate, registered, tax-exempt religious organization within the state of Texas. And Secretary of State just absolutely loves us. But we have outreach programs, and the educational thing is the one aspect that we do. We do take a break in the summer. We have other outreach programs like once a month we have what we refer to as coffee moots, and these are general gatherings where we invite people of all walks of life to come and see what we're about. And we normally meet at places called Black Rock Coffee Bar, something in Webster. It's very nice place, and of course in our heat right now it's air conditioned, so that makes makes things so much better. We do 9 floats during the year where we honor the gods and the goddesses and our ancestors. When heathens, also through some pagans and Odinists, are your ancestors are very, very important, and they are a part of the spirituality. They are a part of what we call religion and folkway.
So, for the people out there who know nothing about these traditions, I, I'd like to point out that the people who come to your moots are people that are on a journey too to find their path, and that this may just be one stop along their path of gaining information. Correct?
Correct. I mean, people now are really starting to look. They're starting to question what they have been taught all their lives, and they're questioning it because, well, one, this pandemic came by, and still not quite done yet, but things are working their way back into normalcy. But it's forced a lot of people, because they had nothing to do, to actually take a good look at their life. And I guess they looked at things that they found that they did not like or that they did not understand. And their spiritual path that they were on, they started questioning Gayle, because it was just something that was given to them at birth. This is now what you are. Now, I will offend some people when I say this, but for people of European descent, Christianity, for the most part, is a foreign religion. It's an Eastern religion that is contrary to our customs and our cultural traditions
We were
on an ancestral view.
about this the other night, that our DNA remembers. And as people have begun to explore their DNA, and just because um, your last name is O'Hara, for instance, you may do your DNA report and you may not be any more Irish than, you know, you may have grown up with this idea that, oh, I'm from the old country and I'm Irish and I'm this and I'm that, or you can grow up with a Hispanic last name and you not have any Hispanic in you, but you're taught that this is who we are, this is what we're supposed to be. And I think during COVID and being locked down, I don't think we went back to normal, but it's a new normal.
It is a new normal.
It is a new normal, and it is a new normal that says, I'm actually going to do my DNA, and I'm actually going to research where my people came from, and I'm going to try and find something that speaks to me. Am I correct? Is that the kind of people you
Yes.
got showing up?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And the idea of speaking to the person takes us back to our genetics, to our DNA, where we have it's proven that we have within our DNA, it's burned into our DNA, ancestral memory. Now, this is not our memory. This is memory that was infused in our DNA by our ancestors who lived a long time ago, and possibly even just maybe 100 years ago. Now, this DNA, as part of our ancestral gifts that we have, presents itself to us in, for instance, you could be dreaming or in a contemplative state of meditation, and suddenly 3 still pictures, black and white still photos, flash in front of you, or could be more, could be less, and you're sitting there. What the hell was that? This was ancestral
The memory
DNA.
that's encoded within you.
Yeah, it's in your DNA.
Yes,
And
you know,
it flips up, Gail. It shows up.
it does. And that shows up in a lot of ways for a lot of people, because I think it shows up in physical ways, not just on the inside, but
Yes.
for instance, people that did come from Ireland and they fled because of the potato famine and there was no food. Now people are like overweight because they're scared of there being no food. You
This,
know,
yes,
it
yes,
comes through. I've talked to people up in New York um, that they have survivor's guilt. And, it hits them. They feel like they don't deserve the nice apartment or the good marriage or the whatever because uh, their people came from the concentration camps. They survived and they feel guilty,
yes, yes.
you know, and they know that it's not their guilt, but that doesn't make them feel it any less.
But now these ancestral memories, again, not ours, but given to us from our ancestors, just as we have everything else from them. And this goes back to we are our ancestors in total, and they are us.
Yes.
Now, along with this, and this is my theory. This is not something you're going to find anywhere. Once upon a time, recently, there was this phrase of blood and soil, right?
Hmm.
And the whole idea was this was pre-DNA. This was 150 years ago or so when this came up. And they would refer to blood and soil, and the people, and this had to do with culture. It had to do with the house and the home. It had to do with life. Today, it's not really blood; it's the DNA. That is it. Now, it's the DNA that's within us. Now, my theory is, at least, that since we are just on the cutting edge, just on the leading edge of DNA discovery, that one day we're going to find out that memory that we carry with us also has a sense of place.
Hmm.
It's the
A
sort of,
sense of place, a sense of where you belong. And I know you told me that you haven't always felt as at home in this country. And then, you're drawn to Europe and drawn to the ancestors. And, I have a certain amount of that myself. I told you I've woken up in the middle of the night with the name Glastonbury Tour just ringing in my ears. And I want to go and see it so, so, so very, very bad. But I also have that here with now. I think people that are pursuing their life purpose,
yes.
people that are living their best possible life, and that we are divinely guided, that we get moved to the place that we're supposed to be in.
That's quite a possibility, because I love the United States, not leaving, but and I certainly love Texas, I came to Texas for the reason that I'm here. I had to get out of an area in this country that I considered quite toxic. To me, that part of this country is a nuclear dead zone. That's how
Yeah,
things.
but it doesn't speak to your blood. It doesn't speak to your
No,
DNA. It doesn't speak to your purpose. Not
now,
that it can be perfectly good for somebody else.
no, but you see, in order to work my purpose, I had to be in a spot, and Texas is it to do it. Now, what I feel in when I go to Europe, for instance, like southeastern um, England, where the Angles and the Saxons were, uh, I feel it quite a bit. In Vienna and Salzburg, I feel it quite a bit. I did not feel it in France, and I did not feel it in Ireland. And what I'm feeling uh, is what I believe is the sensation of the DNA within me making an ancestral connection to the place, to the place.
And it can
My
be an
ancestors were.
ancestral connection, or people like me that believe that we've lived many different lifetimes. I personally believe that our soul comes back and we learn. We learn. We're constantly learning and upgrading, hopefully, in these different lifetimes that we come to this planet. And we remember. We
Yes.
remember those other times. And whether we want to remember that as being in our physical DNA, or we want to remember that as being in our soul, maybe the two go hand in hand.
There's a good possibility to do.
And
We're,
nobody can say for sure.
no,
That's the science of belief.
we're kidding. We're kidding ourselves thinking we know everything. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface of what there is to know on anything. And
So,
this whole thing is now. I mentioned to you, I got to get. We were supposed to go back over in 2020, and well, everybody knows what happened then.
yeah.
Now, uh, there's a couple of places in Germany that I have to be, where I have to see for myself about certain things, and they're personal, but they're also uh, historical, and
Mhm.
it will also help.
There's a couple of places that I want to go and explore in Scotland because, I want to see if they speak to me, like you said. But going back to the idea of life purpose, because I think this marries with the life purpose. What would you say your life purpose is, and why are you in Texas right now?
Okay, I am in Texas because Texas is possibly one of the freest states in the union, where I can exercise First and Second Amendment rights. In particular, my First Amendment, and that is also my purpose. Uh, the work that I'm doing here is to um, help grow heathenry, our asatru, whatever you want to call the subject. But I like heathenry because it's an older name, and our greatest arch foe is pretty much responsible for that name. They in turn picked it up from the Greeks and the Romans. Anybody was a heathen who was not a Greek or a Roman, and then
And
the
this
church
is
picked.
because of a long study. You want to help people to find
Right, and
what
there
you
are,
have found in that faith.
I before we got on, I was counseling. I was counseling a young man who just happens to be also one of our host sworn members, and he's dead on the money what he wants to do, and he was asking me what I thought about his potential and so forth was, and of course I'm honest. I'm going to be honest with him, and I told him what I think his what he has to do to fulfill those things. and he's going to do it. I know he's going to do it. He made his mind up years and years ago to be what he is now, a heathen, and he is finally, as far as he's concerned, he's come home. Friggafolk and his brothers and sisters in Friggafolk, the other sworn members, are his family. And this is something that people have to understand today, that your blood family, your does not mean it's maybe a family for you. A lot
A hand-carved natural quartz crystal ball made into a necklace for divination on the go. Crystal balls have been used for centuries in healing and cleansing rituals, as well as for divination. The sphere represents infinity and the circle of life. While a wand uses focused energy, the crystal ball sends out energy in all directions. This makes it a great resource for discovering the complete circumstances surrounding a question.
Oh, fire, fire, oh, fire, call fire department. Oh, wait, never mind. Fluffy says that it's he's smudging the house. Yep, smudging the house. He's been stressing how important it is to indulge in psychic hygiene. Yep, move that energy. Well, okay, I'm gonna go over here and chew on Fluffy's foot. I'm gonna go smudge the foot so it smells better, get rid of all that bad juju. I don't want his other foot to fall off. Remember, look us up on With the Fluff. Love ya. Bye. Ow.
Sarah had been trying to write a book for ages, but she was still on page 1. Until she discovered SpeakYourOwnBook.com. Sarah teamed up with one of our trained writing coaches, who listened to Sarah's book idea, asked the right questions, and guided Sarah every step of the way. In 90 minutes, they had written the outline for Sarah's entire book. Within weeks, using the speak writing method, Sarah became a published author, both online and in print. Whether it's a textbook, an autobiography, a novel, or a children's book, SpeakYourOwnBook.com can help.
Yeah!
Visit our website today to download our free 50-question guide and schedule your free consultation. With Speak Writing, anyone can publish a book. Speak your own book today. You speak, we write.